My husband is way too close to his little brother's ex-girlfriend, and it's making me feel like a third wheel in my own marriage. Posted by you/hotmessmom04. I, 37F, have been with my husband, 44M, for 17 years. We have kids, a dog, and we used to own a business together. He has this friend who happens to be his little brother's ex-girlfriend, 30F. She's been in and out of our lives since she broke up with my brother-in-law over 12 years ago. Over the last 4 years or so, she's been constantly messaging my husband. She never sends me a message unless my husband tells her he's not home and she's on her way, which has happened only once in 4 years. She's engaged and has a baby on the way. Both my husband and his friends say they have a brother-sister relationship. My kids don't like her or her child. Her child is 7 years younger than our youngest, and my kids feel like they have to babysit when she comes over. This is what bothers me about their relationship. I am never included in their conversations online, even when she invites herself over. My husband once told his brother that he thought she was hot and that if he were younger and single, he would try to date her. My brother-in-law sent me a message to warn me about their relationship. When I spoke to my husband about it, he laughed it off and told me his brother was jealous. During an intimate moment, my husband told me she was the only person he would ever ask to have a three-way with us. That was never discussed between us before, not even the idea of a three-way. When she comes over, she barely speaks directly to me, always addressing my husband. I have to insert myself into the conversation for her to even acknowledge me. I'm tired of feeling like the third wheel in their friendship. Last year, my husband gave me one of his old cell phones because mine had broken. He hadn't logged out of his Messenger account, so I used it to my advantage and read their messages at the time. He admitted to her that he had told his brother she was hot and that if he were younger and single, he would date her. He also told her I wasn't home when he said it and that I didn't know exactly what he had said. Her response was to send him the rolling on the floor laughing emoji. Ever since, I feel like they both occasionally disrespect me in their conversations. All he does is talk about her, often. He never makes her wait when she texts him, yet sometimes when I text him, he takes half an hour to respond. So, tell me, would I be the jerk if I told him he had to choose between his relationship with me and his friend? Relevant comments. When Up is told to tell the friend's partner. I've never spoken to her partner about it because I never get a chance to speak to him alone. I don't have his phone number, and he isn't on social media. He comes with her every single time she has come over in the past 2 years or so that she's been with him. He seems to be the quiet type, he only talks when the subject of the conversation interests him. Honestly, the poor guy seems somewhat uncomfortable coming over, even though he seems to like my husband. Every time she comes here, she always asks questions about my brother-in-law and his family. Her fiancé never says anything when she talks about them. The last time they came over, she started talking about my brother-in-law during supper. I told her that he wasn't going to change and that bringing him up every time she visits is a little annoying, not to mention that it seems to make her fiancé uncomfortable. Before they left, he, the fiancé, came up to me and thanked me for standing up for him. I didn't get to say anything because his girlfriend walked into the kitchen. Update 2 months later. We've had several talks over the last few weeks. At first, he wanted to work things out. As a matter of fact, he says he never meant any of it and keeps apologizing for breaking my trust. Now he's just being a plain jerk. Then he flipped and decided that since I don't want to work on things, he left for his brother's house. He hasn't seen our kids in the past month. He talks to them on the phone, but that's about it. So far, to piss me off, he's cut mine and the kids' cell phone service, so I had to get us new SIM cards because otherwise, we wouldn't have phones. He's refused to pay anything for school supplies and uniforms. He doesn't want to give me a dime. He hasn't done his taxes this year, which means I won't get any family allowance, Canada Child Tax Benefit, cutting my budget by $1,800 a month. I was able to sign the kids up for a local school supply distribution. The only thing they don't help with is the uniforms. Thankfully, only my older two need uniforms. My oldest has some old uniform shirts that will be passed down to my other child, which means my daughter will be wearing her older brother's shirts. She's really annoyed by the situation and has been giving me lots of attitude about it, but at the moment, I can't afford $35 t-shirts with the school's logo on them, so she has no choice. Unfortunately, uniforms are mandatory. I spoke to his friend as well. I told her everything that was going on. He told her he left me because I cheated on him, which isn't true, and she blames herself for what happened. Personally, I just think she was putting on a show. I haven't spoken to her since. If you ask me, I still think she's a hypocrite. Finances are tough. I barely make ends meet. Thankfully, food banks exist because once rent is paid, I barely have anything left over for bills and groceries. I still haven't been able to get the money for a lawyer yet. I've tried taking loans, but that didn't go over well. Now it's like we're in a state of Cold War. He refuses to talk to me for the time being. I guess he'll come around eventually. For the kid's sake, I hope. I feel like sometimes I'm drowning in all this mess. Edit. Lots of comments have come up on this post. I didn't expect so many. I've read as many as I can, and I'll address a few points. He's gone to stay with his other brother, the second one in the family. My soon-to-be ex is the oldest of three. It's the youngest of his brothers who told me what's going on. I filed my taxes back in March. He was supposed to file his a few weeks later. At the time, everything was good between us, and I listed him as my spouse because that's what we've been doing for the past 17 years since we got married. I have to file my next taxes as single. About the school uniforms, my oldest kids are in high school. A public high school. Uniforms are mandatory across the school board. I've contacted the school, and unfortunately, they don't have any low-cost uniforms. They suggested I check local thrift shops. They do have an emergency budget for uniforms, but only for families who have recently arrived in the country. I've contacted several lawyers. I know my rights. I know how much it's going to cost me to take him to court. He's quit his job, so suing him for alimony or anything else is going to be tough. I don't qualify for legal aid based on previous tax filings. It takes at least 90 days of him being out of the family home before I can take action against him. He's been gone for less than 2 weeks. As for family, I have been no contact with my parents since 2010. They do not know my younger children, nor do they care. I won't be getting into the reasons why here. His family has always been low contact with us. His parents have never liked me, and the brother he's staying with doesn't like me either. Edit 2. For those saying the timeline doesn't add up, I left with my 4 kids at the beginning of July to visit my elderly grandmother, who doesn't live in the same province as us. The trip was supposed to give us some breathing room to try and work things out. When I came back with the kids, he was already gone. While I was at my grandmother's, he would barely talk to me, but he would talk to our kids via Messenger. My trip with the kids to my grandmother's is a yearly tradition. I had no idea he would go from wanting to stay and work things out to leaving. I was blindsided. Second update 7 months later. It's been a long while since I updated everyone about what's going on. It's been almost 8 long months since he left. Everyone was right when they said he would end up with her. They got married in a civil ceremony on Christmas Day. The only time he asked me for the kids was for the 2 weeks during Christmas break. He wanted them there for his wedding, apparently. He barely talks to the kids now. The kids text him several times a week to let him know what's up with school and their activities. He barely answers them. When he does, he complains about how I won't let him take them overnight. He still posts pictures of his new family daily on social media. They are still taking weekend trips and all that. I hate how he's flaunting everything for our older kids to see. Our oldest is going to college in the fall, and he's worried about covering his school fees. When he tried talking to his dad about it, his dad told him that now that he's almost an adult, it's not his problem anymore. I did take him to court. I found myself a good lawyer who took on my case for free. We had our first court date last week. It went well. I got full custody of the kids. We have another court date to determine child support. He's still not working legally, so the judge is having a hard time setting an amount for child support. So far, all the documents he brought to court show that he is on welfare and that his new wife pays their rent, bills, and vacations. I don't buy any of that. Neither does the court. He's been ordered by the court to provide documentation that he's done his taxes this year, and he has to try and place himself within the job market in a reasonable amount of time in order to provide for the children he does have. Our next court date is in April. Hopefully, he's going to get his crap sorted out. As for me, I'm still working 2 jobs to make ends meet. I'll be moving next month with the kids into an apartment in a co-op building. My rent will be much lower than what I am paying now. I'm stressing out about my finances. Moving is expensive, and I have to hire a company to help me move all our stuff. Plus, with my son starting college soon, summer break, and all that, I'm stressed out all day, every day. All I see are expenses coming up. I'm still exhausted all the time. I work more than I am at home with my kids. I hope that within the next year, things get better for us. I've started my own small business online, hopefully, that picks up too. I haven't started dating either. I'm not interested in meeting anyone yet. For those of you who wrote to me saying I blew up my life and family and called me the jerk in this situation, I don't think I was the jerk. I deserve better. If I ever update this again, it will be on my own page. Relevant comments. Commenter. His wife will most likely end up paying his child support, depending on the state. Ops response. We are in Canada. They aren't legally married yet. They only had a civil ceremony and didn't obtain a marriage license. My ex admitted this in court. Their marriage has no legal value at the moment. Knowing how he is, they will probably never get a marriage license. Commenter 2. I'm sure that in Canada, whether legally married or not, they may be considered common law partners depending on how long they've been together. If that's the case, ask your lawyer if they can review their earnings as a household since she's apparently paying for everything. Ops response. They have only been together since August or September, if my memory serves me right.